Hi, I'm Kacey.
And I'm Gianni.
I never finished reading the Animorphs books as a kid, and I still haven't as an adult.
And I've never read them.
We can't tell you where we live.
But we can tell you that we want to revisit these books as adults and dive into what we would keep or change if we were to put it on TV.
Two friends, 50-something books. Welcome to Morphin Buddies.
And then the music kicks in, and then people are just so ready.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Morphin Buddies with me, your host, Kacey Cisnowski. We got saxophone guy in the background. I don't know if you can hear him or not. And we got Mr. Gianni DeMaio across the screen from me. What's up, Gianni?
Yo, me, saxophone guy, you, couple of Animorphs.
Heck
my
yeah,
dog
baby.
click-clacking around behind me.
We got Milo out there, my cat.
It's
Heck
so
yeah.
good. You know what's funny? I was listening to our latest. Well, at the time of recording this, it was our latest episode that you released, which was, I think, The Departure.
Yeah.
And my audio quality sounds so awful in it. 'Cause my computer was dying. And I remember at the time being like, my computer sounds really loud. And at some point in the episode, we were like, yeah, your computer's like going through it.
Yeah.
It is so much worse than I thought it would. Anyway, but, you know, hopefully
Apologies to
that
everyone.
was more of a closet environment problem. Now I'm at home, you know, so it's
I
not,
think so, yeah.
not
I mean, it
too
wasn't awful.
pervasive.
I feel like it wasn't unlistenable, but it definitely was
you
different.
can still hear, but yeah, like it is noticeable though.
Well, we will get started. We got a couple listener emails from repeat offenders. Yeah.
Let's go.
Mr. Biochemist Ryan. He reached out to us after listening to The Departure, which was just released this past weekend as of recording right now. He said he also had some issues with the ending. Remember, everybody, this is the book with Cassie and Karen in the woods, and Karen's on PCP, and then Cassie turns into a caterpillar and then a butterfly.
They called me a madman. But my takes were correct. Re-listening to them, I was objectively right.
I think you kind of were. I can't really disagree with you. And so Ryan said, in addition to what you pointed out, a butterfly is not a different animal than a caterpillar than the caterpillar it came from. They're same species, just different oh my God, I can't even talk. Different development stages. My God. I'm tripping over.
Yes, that's such a good point.
Yeah, and they're like, and he said, saying that metamorphosis from caterpillar to butterfly resets the morphing clock is like saying puberty resets the morphing clock. Yeah, the changes are more physically dramatic, but it's still the same animal. So the book makes no biological sense at all. That's it. That's the whole email. Happy podcasting. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for that confirmation. We appreciate that. We're glad we're right. And then we got our buddy, Just a Bird Jimmy, emailing us.
Just a bird.
Just a bird, Jimmy.
He's just a bird.
Just a bird. So I think in this last episode, The Departure, that was just released, I think I had a lovely segue where I said, if you have killed anybody, let us know. You can email us.
Yeah.
So Jimmy says
we've tried for that a couple of times. But in The Departure, we did re-up that extension of that offer. Heck yeah.
So Jimmy said he hasn't killed anybody, but he had a dream in which he did. Okay, Jimmy. But so he said, I've had this dream just once. It was awful, but totally justified. I think it was self-defense during a home invasion, and even so, the experience made me sick to my stomach. There was going to be a trial, but the dream ended before we could get to it, with the feeling that the trial that really mattered was within me. Jimmy.
Whoa.
Jimmy.
That's some real crime and punishment shit, dude. Oh my God.
Jimmy, you should write a book. You should write a book,
That's
dude.
Intense.
Good line.
No, it's giving it's very O.J. Simpson, if I did it.
This is how I would do it. Hell yeah.
I never did it, but in a dream, this is exactly, it was staged like a self-defense.
If the glove does not fit, you must acquit. And then Jimmy says, more recently...
Famously innocent man.
famously innocent man who made no jokes about it whatsoever. And
Never
then
once.
Jimmy said, more recently, I had a dream in which I spent the entire day at an impossibly awesome water park. More of that, please. Just a bird, Jimmy. Thanks, Jimmy.
Oh. Although it must be hard for a bird at a water park, but
I guess so. But
I guess it, whatever you feel.
I mean,
comfortable
birds
with, I
like
guess.
bird baths, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he just hangs out at
But
the wave
still,
pool.
a water park.
What if he's a penguin? What if-
Whoa!
He could be a penguin.
Good point. Yeah.
Jimmy, let us know what kind of bird you are. Drop it in the chat through our email.
Yeah.
So, besides those 2 emails, Gianni, I wanted to do something that has been kind of trending recently that I don't know if you've heard about this or not, but I thought it might be fun.
Oh.
Have you heard of the Steinhauser test?
No. What is this?
Okay. So this is 2 people have to be involved. One person picks letters of the alphabet randomly, and then the second person and times the second person and sees how quickly the second person can guess that letter, if that makes sense. So it's like I chose 5 letters randomly, and within I think the time limit is about 1.5 minutes, so I'll time it. Within 1.5 minutes, depending on how quickly you can guess the letters, it kind of reveals a certain way that you process like how quickly you process information and like reading your brain. And I thought,
Oh God.
I thought this might be fun. So
Okay.
I
I have
thought-
really poor reaction timing, and I do crack under pressure. Just so
Hell
you
yes.
know, I'm really good at Jeopardy if I can pause it and then think about
think
the
about it for a
question
second.
and then answer.
I mean, like you
But
can
I'm
count on your
so bad
fingers
at-
if you want to. So
Yeah, if you were asking a Jeopardy question and I
Mm-hmm.
had to buzz in, I would panic buzz all the time, like before you even finish the question, and then I'd be like, "Oh no, I didn't." I
forgot.
It's the 2 facets of my brain working against each other. Yeah, I can't process like that. So this could go really poorly, but sure, I'm
All right.
okay.
All right. So
What do I have to do?
I will set a stopwatch timer. And so after I read like the first, I'll say like, what's the first letter of the alphabet? And then you'll say the answer, and then we'll go until we've done 5. Okay? And then
fuck.
I'll time it. I won't give you a limit. I'll just see how long
I
it
am gonna have
takes
to
you.
like count on my fingers.
That's
'cause I'm
totally
so
fine.
bad.
That's totally fine, dude. All right, are you ready?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And time is starting. Okay, what is the 7th letter of the alphabet?
Oh God. A B C D E F G.
Okay,
G?
okay. 13th letter of the alphabet.
H I J K L M.
Okay, what is the first letter of the alphabet?
A.
What is the 9th letter of the alphabet?
Oh God. A B C D E F G H I.
Okay, and what is the 12th letter of the alphabet? This is the last one. 12th letter.
J K L.
Yay, you did it. Okay, that was 35 seconds. All right,
That
are you
was
ready to see?
embarrassingly long, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was that bad. Are you ready to see your
Okay.
results?
Sure.
Okay, the results.
It's gonna be like, your results are you're dumb as fuck.
All right, here.
Results are you're stupid.
All right, here's the results. You are stupid because I just made you spell out gmail.com, and I'm going to clip that and use it at the end for the rest of the episodes going forward. That whole thing was just made up, and I got you. I got you. You were so into it, dude. You were so into it.
You picked the perfect thing because I was so nervous.
Yes, that was the point.
Of course, I wasn't going to be thinking about that. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Yes. We got him. We got him.
Was it a
We got him, Morphin
real
Buddies.
name of the thing?
Straight
at
to
least?
jail.
Or did you make the whole thing up?
No, I made the whole thing up. I made the whole thing up. You're welcome. I was trying to make it sound really legit. And I was like, go ahead.
But it sounded legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it sounded like a real thing.
No, it wasn't. I made the whole thing up. So it's not something that's trending. I just made the whole...
What did you call it again?
The Steinhauser experiment. The Steinhauser test.
Steinhauser. That's like, so yeah, I would totally buy that.
Hell yeah.
100%.
Excellent.
Oh my God.
We did it,
That was
Morphin Buddies.
So fucking funny.
Congratulations to everyone.
That was good.
So,
That was good.
thank you very much
That
for
was
doing
good.
that for me too.
Yeah.
So, anyway, on to our next segment, the book 22, The Solution, where Rachel's turned into a little white rat on the front. How did you feel about this one, Gianni?
So full disclosure, when we get to like the plot stuff, as I read this book now a couple of days ago, you and I kept we kept missing each other by so this
Scheduling
is like,
was a little tricky.
So I'm a little far removed from this book, but based on so a lot of this is just like a sort of instinctual reaction. But now that I've sat with it a bit, I think that I can confidently say that this is, objectively speaking, I think, the best book in the series thus
Whoa.
far. Now, I don't think that necessarily that means I enjoy it more than the reaction, because I think I will always enjoy the reaction more than anything. But I think that in terms of everything that it seems like the series is trying to do with, thrilling science fiction, with action set pieces, with character dynamics, character developments, the way those conversations play to overarching themes. I think that everything that this book has, it does better than any other iteration of this story before.
Wow.
I think that the worst parts of this book are the Marriott stuff.
Yep,
which
I hated that bit. I was like, so it's nothing,
like an
useless.
afterthought.
Yeah.
Feels like a complete afterthought. Feels like we needed something to motivate the other two books, and now we're where we need to be with the David story, and we don't need that plot anymore, so we might as well just tie a bow on it and throw it into the ocean. So that was disappointing. And then the only other thing that I would say I would define as like my criticism of the book would be, I feel that David is like such a good villain, like in this book particular, because now like mask off, he's just completely deranged and unhinged and essentially plotting to try to manipulate and kill the Animorphs one by one, and he's so effective at it that it makes the Yeerks seem even dumber by association. I'm like, how did no one think of any of this shit? Like, it's like the most basic, like you have the Animorph abilities, like you've seen, like, Visser 3 has seen the Animorphs enough to be like, yes, they usually use this particular animal or whatever, and I could probably stage as that animal and then infiltrate her, would do whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's just, I once again, the Yeerks are dumb, and this one is like, because David is actually capable of things,
It's much more compelling.
It seems. Yeah, and it's like, damn, we should have been doing this the whole time, It should have been this high of stakes the entire time. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, I love this book. I think it's great. I think it's carrying forward from everything that happened in the previous book. It feels like the reins are sort of let go of, and now it can just kind of like go on its own. It's a very hard book to put down.
Yeah.
Like you just race right through it. But everything, like even like this stuff that I think on its surface I wouldn't like the Rachel Jake hospital conversations about like why did you get me and all that. Even that stuff, I'm like, I love this.
Yeah.
This is great. This is how you build like interesting character dynamics with unique character dilemmas that then speak to the overarching themes. Over all of that is these super high stakes of this situation that is spiraling out of control with every waking moment. The Animorphs work together in really unique and fun ways.
Yeah.
Like the whole like final plan concoction, I think, is really, really exciting and really surprisingly trusts the audience, I think, a lot to be like catching on to the clues that they're laying out this trap. So yeah, I had a great time. I mean, this is just so good. I think as a conclusion for the David trilogy, I think this is exactly the way it should have gone. But what did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I didn't love the first third just because of the plot with the world leaders and them just going in and destroying everything. To me, I was like, okay, so then what was the point? Because I feel like
it really feels like they were like, well, shit, we got to get this wrapped up.
Yeah, so I didn't like that, but yeah, I liked a lot of the discussions with Rachel and Jake. I liked that Rachel was constantly questioning, like, why me? Is there something wrong with me? And then she's like, well, no, I am the tough one, and I do want to kill him. Did Jake know I was going to threaten him? How much does he know about me? Like, does he know more about me than me? I think that whole subplot within Rachel's psyche, I thought was very interesting, and I think it was done really well, where it didn't sound unrealistic from my point of view as a teenager. And I thought they were very mature conversations with Jake. And while Jake didn't want to hurt her feelings, you can see he's trying to like make her feel better, but also he does believe that she's the one to get the job done. Should it come to it, you know? And I really liked that. I loved the ending where you're like, okay, what exactly is happening? I'm not quite sure, but they were all sure of the plan, which I was like, yes, okay, good. We're not having a plan where one person's like, I know exactly what to do. Just follow me and I won't give you any details. Just trust me. Like they're all actively working together to stop this absolute psychopath. And it almost doesn't work, and then it does. And I loved the little kind of epilogue at the end as to what happened after the trap goes off without a hitch. And it felt kind of like an old, like a campfire story of like, and so legend goes, you know, like you could still hear.
The rumor of the haunted rock. Yeah. And you're like, geez.
Yeah,
Christ,
exactly.
that's crazy.
So I really did like that. I didn't like it as much as the reaction, but I did like it a lot. It is, I think, near the top of the list as far as the books that we've read thus far. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's just a really excellent read. I think that you, like any new readers of the series, could probably just jump in at the David trilogy and I think get like a very rewarding experience. I think they would be missing out on the reaction, but I think that it hits all of the highs of the series that I think you look for. It even, honestly, this one, I have to give it credit where it's due, because I pitch down the middle. You know, this is just what I do, right? Credit where it's due. Jake is great in this one.
He really is.
He's excellent.
He's sensitive.
And you see why, like, it's the first time that you ever actually see what people trust about Jake, which is just that he's observant enough to be able to understand the different dynamics of the group. And it's the only time that I've actually seen that executed and it not just be told to me.
It's really frustrating that we haven't had more of this in previous books.
Even in Jake books, you don't get this.
Yeah, even in Jake books. I mean, maybe we've had a touch of something like that here and there, but never to this depth of, like, Jake actually being like a good leader, making
Yeah.
decisions and being sensitive to the needs of the other people in the group, and really planning on, okay, you're good at this, so you do this, and you two are going to come with me and we're going to do this. Like, yeah, I think this trilogy has really, I, you know, it's really been a shining point for Jake, and I'm
Yeah.
happy for him. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, I mean, I expect him to backslide immediately, but yeah, no, yeah, credit where it's due. It has been really good. They picked all of the right POV characters for these 3 stories, which I think is easier said than done. Because like I think Marco being like the first to kind of catch the inkling of a bad vibe with this guy was right, and then to have Jake the leader thrown in, and your expectation is that, oh, he'll get this wrapped up because the series wants him to be a leader, and then for that book to end how it does, and to pass the baton to Rachel, and actually actively see her be a Xena warrior princess, so to speak.
Hell yeah.
Like making harsh calls, being more aggressive. It feels like this trilogy in particular, and particularly this book, does solidify everything that the books have been saying about these characters, but not necessarily showing. And I think that's why I like this book so much, is just because it feels like the execution of a promise that's been given to us for 20 some odd books now.
And everybody shines in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody has a great moment. Yeah, this is a banger. This is an absolute banger. And because like I said, I was listening to The Departure, and I can't remember which email said it, but someone was, they were asking in that episode, how would you lay this out as a season or whatever. And yeah, I mean, this is such a good arc to wrap up a season 2.
Yeah.
To end it
for
right
sure.
here. I mean, this is awesome. I would have to change the Marriott thing, but I will say this, I'll give credit where it's due, because the other like C plot that I was not expecting to be prevalent or important at all was their cousin.
Yeah.
Rachel and Jake's cousin. It's had a
Sadler.
stupid name.
Sadler.
Sadler?
Yeah. Sadler.
I did not expect that to be... I was like, why are they incorporating this in the last 2 books? And the payoff of it in this book was excellent. I did not see it coming. I was like, this is... wow, what a crazy manipulation. And
because you don't expect
pervasive.
that.
Yeah, this feels like truly they are being hunted by a powerful sort of entity, an unhinged man. But yeah. I mean, David's a weird fucking character, and I think maybe a little inconsistent with where we meet David to where we end with David, but I'm satisfied nonetheless by the progression.
Yeah, me too. I think David is one of the more interesting characters that we have met thus far, and I think focusing really on his metamorphosis into what he becomes by the end of it is going to be something really fun for like a guest spot actor to really get into.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, should we dive into the solution?
We should.
should.
I should probably pull up my notes so that I can try to see if I can remember this plot. But I'm pretty
There
sure
you go. I think we're going to remember
it
the
well
big
enough.
points.
Definitely the big points. Yeah, I feel bad because I usually try to throw in my little notables,
Your little
all
twinkle
the way
fingers.
throughout. Yeah, that's how people know I really read it.
I like that.
But so this book starts out with Rachel being awoken by Axe. So if everyone recalls from the last book, when Jake was chasing after David after he had snuck out, he had sent Axe specifically to get Rachel, and it was kind of vague, but he basically implied that he thought Tobias might be dead and he might need Rachel for what's to come. Not exactly clear what he was trying to get across there, but we're reading between the lines. we kind of get the sense that Rachel's going to be the muscle, right?
Hell yeah.
The one that
yeah.
Rachel's going to be the enforcer, the
Yeah.
Luca Brasi of the situation,
Our barbarian.
so to speak. So she pops on in. Yeah, our Xena warrior princess, some would say.
Hell yeah.
So she is awoken by Axe. She ends up basically tracking with Axe to the mall, where they see the the broken in window. They're kind of piecing together everything that might have transpired. Obviously, they see Jake still in morph, bleeding out. They are able to see that he's still alive, but
he's
who
unconscious.
knows how much time he has left. Yeah. Axe, I think, at a certain point says it's like, he's probably been in morph for about 32 minutes. And Rachel's like, that's your estimate is 32 minutes? It's very specific.
And he's like, now it's 33.
Yeah. So then at a certain point, they're looking to see if David's still there. She ends up seeing like a diamond store of some sort that seems to have been broken into or tampered with.
Yeah.
She thinks like, of course he's gonna be fucking stealing diamonds.
Of course.
He then attacks her. She's like hanging from the
ledge.
second story of this mall or whatever. Yeah, she ends up narrowly like getting away, and then he's saying threatening things, and she's basically like, I'll fucking kill you.
I'll fucking kill you, bitch.
she's like, you messed with the wrong one. Pretty much all of the Rachel David interactions in this book, apart from the end when they're playing him, is ostensibly Rachel being like, you fucked with the wrong
That's
one.
right.
Like, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy, pal. So then he ends up getting away. The police come in, see that there's this fucking tiger.
Yeah, and Axe and Rachel morph flies, so they are pretending to be flies on Jake's body. And Cassie's parents come in, and they're like, how did a tiger get out of our zoo? And this is the exact one from our zoo. And they are starting to take care of the tiger, and Cassie's like, yeah, that's really strange, parents. And then Rachel's like, Cassie, in thoughts.
Weird.
Yeah, Rachel speaks to Cassie at thought speak, and she's like, Cassie, that's Jake. He's bleeding out. David attacked him. Like, don't take this tiger back to the gardens. Figure out what to do. If you can hear me, say okay. And Cassie's like, okay, guys.
I'm pretty sure she says she throws in like a good luck, and then her
good
dad's
luck.
like, good luck. It's like, why? What do you mean?
We know what we're doing, Cassie. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I will say this about the book overall is this one really does not help the whole like Animorphs are still a secret.
Not at all.
This one throws it out the window.
So the cops are hanging around, and Rachel and Axe fly out, and they see two controller cops outside, and the controller cops are like, we shouldn't tell the Vista about this. Wait, he doesn't need to know. This is small. He doesn't need to know this happened. And I'm like, that is dumb, but okay, thank you. Thank you.
You guys are stupid.
Not like you're looking for an Andalite that has a tiger battle morph, so
Yeah. They end up seeing Marco in, I believe it's a bird morph, but I can't remember which one. They see Marco, and so they're running up to him. They're trying to say something to Marco. It's at the last second that they realize, that's not Marco, as he lunges to attack them. And of course, it's David pretending to be Marco. Or actually, David had Marco like human morph.
Yes.
And then
he locked Marco in the closet and knocked him out and took Marco's DNA and pretended to be Marco. So when Axe and Rachel are trying to fly into his bedroom, he like punches Rachel in the face, or Axe. No, he punches Axe.
He knocks
with a bat.
He knocks Axe out with a bat, and then thinks he's killed him and says, "That's two," which is very fucking creepy.
Oh, what a freak! So
at
then
some point in their conversation, though, this is important to note. It becomes clear that David has, and I don't know why they gave him some sort of moral compass, but he has some sense of morality where he will only kill if they are in morph. He's like, I don't give a shit
Yeah.
about animals, so like I'll kill an animal. I don't give a fuck. That's why I killed Tobias and blah. But I'll never kill a human. I would never cross that line. And Rachel's like, okay, weird, noted.
Yeah.
Fucking loser.
Yeah.
Then they go on this whole chase sequence where Rachel's an owl, very very much slower and less capable than David's golden eagle morph, but the owl owns the night, so she's
That's
got
right.
all
She's
the maneuvers
swooping.
figured out. But she tries to like lure him into like a power line or something.
Yeah. And he misses.
And then then he like grabs her. They fight through the whole thing, but then David at the last second gets knocked by something. It's a red-tailed hawk, and it's Tobias,
it's
and he's
our
alive.
boy.
And that Deus Ex Tobias, not at all dead. But David doesn't recognize that it's Tobias, just thinks, oh, it must be one of the other Animorphs.
Because it's dark, he can't see in his bird morph, so yeah.
He's like, I'll get you guys next time, and he flies away. Tobias says that, no, he definitely killed a red-tailed hawk, but it was not me. I have no idea what he was, a little freak.
And then Rachel's bird beak kisses Tobias's bird beak and says, thank you, Tobias.
Yeah. They bird tongue, yeah. They go, ruffle my little feather.
Oh my god. No, that doesn't happen. Not this time.
Not yet.
Not yet. So then we find out that Jake is fine, Axe is fine, Marco is fine. They're all fine, thankfully. The way that they explain it, Cassie's parents were like, the tiger just was back in the enclosure somehow. How did it get in there? And his wound was completely healed. What's up with that? And I'm like, these people are dumb. And so
I also would be like, this town's fucking haunted at this point.
Yeah.
Like, all of the animals act crazy.
Yeah, 100%. They're on top of the Hellmouth. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
They're on top of the Hellmouth.
This is also the 90s. There's got to be just forums upon forums upon forums of
weird stuff
Forks,
happening.
Washington being possessed with animals being. It's like, you'll never believe what I saw in the bathroom at the Today Show. Fucking alligator was half person.
Yeah. I'm sure there's literally pages of forums about people. It was the first Reddit.
Yeah.
But it didn't get a lot of
it was
traction.
The first Reddit.
It was.
They made Reddit for this.
Yeah.
They were like, we need a place to
You
just talk
remember
about
when
this
like
shit.
Facebook was just for college students? It's like that.
Oh yeah.
It's just for Forks,
Oh, yeah.
Washington.
Yes.
That was the
Just
beta test.
to figure out what's going on.
So the next morning, the gang all go to school and they're wrecked. They haven't gotten any sleep. They're exhausted. They want to die. And David shows up again as Marco to talk to Jake. And everyone's like, you
Again,
freak.
worst kept secret everywhere. Imagine if you're in the lunchroom and you see like this kid and then you look over to your right and you see the
same kid.
I would be like, what? I would be like, what
happened?
the fuck is going
Wait,
on?
have you ever, like, a slight tangent, have you ever seen like a doppelganger of yourself in public somewhere?
No.
It happened to
never have.
me once when I used to work at, there used to be an Unleashed by Petco in Tribeca, and I worked there. And my manager, it's like the middle of like a busy Saturday, and she's like, Kacey, look at that girl over there. And I looked over, and she looked exactly like me, and I fucking flipped. I was like, this is like a wrinkle in the universe. Like, we can't make eye contact because everything's gonna explode.
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna be a paradox.
it was so bizarre because like she was looking down at the table and she had like my face shape. Like, I have a pretty distinct nose. Like, I got a beaky nose, and that's fine. I like my beaky nose. But she had the same like eyebrow bone down to the nose, and she was skinny and she had short hair, and I was just like, oh my God, what? I have to hide behind the counter for a minute. Like, this is so strange. It's very bizarre to see that and know that that's not you. So,
yeah, I don't know how I would react to something like that. I've seen people that like vaguely look like me, but never someone who looks exactly like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, if you're listening to this, I mean, you probably have already seen the new cover art.
Hell
But
yeah.
you could see Kacey and I actually on the Morphin
And we're
Buddies cover.
morphing.
It's me morphing from a rotisserie chicken, and you morphing from a red-tailed hawk, which I think is very fitting.
Which is great. We're both just birds, Gianni.
Yeah. We're both just birds at the end of the day. Only one of
Actually,
us can fly.
I showed my boyfriend that picture, and I was like, "Look what Gianni made! Isn't this great?" And he was like, "Is he a rotisserie chicken?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was
Yes.
like, "What? Why is he a rotisserie chicken?" I was like, "I don't know. That's what he wanted to be." And he was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. It's just such a...
I was like, it's boring if I'm a regular chicken. I'd rather be a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah, exactly. So it was very funny when you sent it to me. I loved it. So anyway, Cassie tries to appeal to David, and he's like, "Screw you! I just want my parents back, and you guys got to leave me alone because I'm gonna go get my parents back." And then he threatens the whole gang, and he's like, "I know who you are. I know where all of you live. I know what all of you look like. I know all of your families. If you come after me, I'm going to tell Visser everything about your stupid little lives." And then he gives them the finger, and he leaves.
Which he should have just done anyway. But I mean, who am I?
So David really could just go to the Visser with all this information, because he's got the box. He has all this information about these people. He really could make a fantastic trade for himself. I don't know why he doesn't just immediately do that, but okay.
Well, he doesn't. He doesn't have the box, right? They hid it.
Oh, that's right. They did take the box back.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
You're right.
the whole reason
that
he tries to parlay is because he wants them to give him the box, and then he'll use the box to negotiate for his parents.
That's
back.
right. That's right. I forgot about that. You're right.
So then
Rachel,
he like walks away all smug, and Rachel's like, "Nah, I'm not that guy."
Nip that behavior. Nip that behavior in the bud.
Yeah,
She puts a fork in his ear.
Yeah, which rocked.
I was like, dude, even though it's plastic, like that shit is scary.
Absolutely rocked. And then she was like, "You tell the Visser about us, I'll kill your fucking parents.
I'll scramble your brains." Yeah, she will absolutely murder his
threatening
parents.
my parents? It's like, dude, fuck you.
Yes.
Dude. What are you talking about? Yeah, dude. I'm threatening
Fucking take it like a man, dude.
I'm threatening your whole fucking life. How about that? I don't give a fuck.
That's very Joe Pesci of Rachel.
Yeah.
I'll threaten your whole
She was
fucking
right.
family. Who cares? Yeah.
She was right.
So she 100% she was right. So yeah, she gives him a little threaten, and she's like, "I will murder you, absolutely, and your parents, right in front of you." So then Rachel goes home, and she just collapses in her bed. She falls asleep. She's dead to the world. And then Jake calls, and they go and meet in Cassie's barn, and they're like, who was it? Somebody was in Morph, and Thought spoke privately to the gang and was like, "Hey, I'm pretty sure David's in here, so let's all talk about a fake plan. And that way we can throw David off our scent if he is actually in here listening to us." And everyone's like, "Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Everybody fist bumps quietly. And then they're like, "Okay, real plan. This is the real plan that's happening."
There's a lot of acting work going on from the group in this
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
The fake plan is like very vague, but apparently it's like what the plan was before, which was like an espionage, infiltrate, and blah blah blah. And then as they're leaving, they're like, "Okay, so the real plan is a little crazy." And Rachel's like, "I like crazy," and something like that. And then basically what the plan is that they dolphin morph. Well, first they bird morph, then they dolphin morph. I think they bird morph, right? They're flying over, and then they're dolphins.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they'll go to the Marriott. I still find it funny that it's the Marriott, but they go to the Marriott.
They also, right before this, they went to the zoo to get more big, tough morphs, rhinos and elephants. For everybody.
Yes.
So
then all
then
they
they're
do
dolphins.
Is
they
go to the beach, they morph into the big morphs, and then they just bulldoze everything.
They just run around.
Ruin the conference that way. There's a certain point where they they bust in on some like foreign leader of some vague African country, and the guy is like, "This is hilarious," and then like lets them go. Like it's like kind of random and silly.
Yeah.
At a certain point, Visser 3 is like, "I'll get you."
Yeah, and that was Visser 3 as Tony. You remember Tony?
Yeah,
He was
Tony.
there. Oh, it was
Yeah.
great that I remembered him in the last episode. Anyway, he was important. Visser 3 was morphed as Tony. I don't remember what Tony did, but he was important. But Visser 3 was like, "Oh, I'll get you, Animorphs."
Get you. Like,
So
keep dreaming, Tony. And then
Yeah.
they go back to the water to escape, and then they get a signal from a killer whale, and it turns out to be David. And as he's coming up on him, he's like, "By the way, Rachel threatened to kill my family." And Rachel's like thinking to herself, like, "Yeah, I did, and I'd do it again." And then no one sticks up for her, and she's like, "What the fuck, man?" And then
Guys.
the killer whale starts trying to attack the dolphins. They end up narrowly getting away. After Cassie ends up morphing into a humpback whale. And David's too stupid to know that humpback whales don't eat killer whales.
yeah,
So-
he just bitches out. He's out.
Yeah, so he fucks
He's
off.
like, "Ah." So then Rachel wakes up the next morning and she finds out her cousin Sadler might die. Like he's in his final hours. It's very sad, which I was just like, whoa, what a way to wake up. So her family is heading to the hospital.
But really, what quality of life were we talking about, you know, with a name like Sadler? You are already... Listen, if your name is Sadler...
It's a
I'm
bad
sorry.
name. That's worse than
I'm sorry.
Thom, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, no.
The only way I'm remembering his name is because I think of Adam Sandler, but take out the N. You got
Honestly, Sandler is kind of a cool-ass name.
Yeah, that's
Sadler
kinda cool.
is stupid as hell.
It's a little. It feels like you're tripping over your own tongue when you say it a little bit. Sadler.
Yeah, it just reminds me of a saddle. And then you're a person
You wanna
who
ride?
saddles. Yeah.
So Rachel sees that her little sister is upset, and as she's comforting her little sister, David's like, "Hey, Rachel, I'm in your house," and she's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's me, David. I'm just hiding in your house somewhere, and you have no idea. I know."
In the bathroom, which was very perverse.
He's like, "I might be in your shower watching you take a shower." And she's like, "Ew, you freak." And he's like, "Hey, you'll never know. I'll never tell you. But just remember, I'm going to be watching you forever." And she's like, "I think I'm going to skip my shower today." And he threatens her family. He threatens to murder her family. And then he's like, "Well, let's do this. Since I just threatened your family and you threatened my family, let's call it a truce. And we won't threaten each other's family. That's all I want." And she's like, "Yeah, okay, I guess." And he's like, "All right, I'll see you around." And he does say, "Go ahead and enjoy your shower." And in my notes I wrote, "Ew," in all caps.
Yeah.
Gross, you
Yeah,
freak.
there's something about this book that taps into... Because, like, the concept itself of the Animorphs, like, the way the Yeerks work, the way the overarching antagonists work, is supposed to inherently give the reader some sense of paranoia. I think that's supposed to add to the thrilling aspect of it.
I think
this
it works.
is the first book that I ever really felt sincere paranoia.
Yep.
Because it was like, oh my god, yeah, he could be anybody. He could be present at all times. You know, we have no idea. So she's visibly upset. They go over to Jake's family's house because everybody's going to leave to go visit Sadler together. And she pulls Jake aside and she's like, "He was in my fucking shower." And then Jake is like, "Relax, okay."
Yeah.
I get it.
He's like,
"That's
"I'm sorry."
crazy."
Yeah.
He's like, we got to go visit Sadler though. This is a thing right now. They then have some sort like a little bit of a back and forth about like, "Why did you ask for me?" And Jake's like, "What are you talking about? I just wanted like more manpower or whatever." And she's like, "That's not why you fucking asked for me. Why didn't you guys stick up for me when David accused me of threatening his parents?" And Jake was like, "Well, what? We're gonna stop a fight in the middle of the ocean just to be like, 'No, David, you're a liar'?" And she's like, "Oh, you think he was lying?" And Jake's like, Well,
I didn't say that necessarily.
Well, I don't
but
know.
then,
I mean,
but then she calls him a
I didn't wanna address
hypocrite.
it.
She calls him a hypocrite.
Yeah. Finally.
And I was just like,
finally
yes.
someone's roasting this guy.
And Jake's like,
Yeah, she reads him for filth.
yeah, yeah. So then the conversation has to abruptly stop because they're all going to the hospital now to see Sadler. So they get in the hospital, and oh my God, Sadler has no injuries and he's totally fine. In fact, he's
Miraculous
feeling
cure.
Yeah, he's just a miracle, and all the doctors are completely confused, and they're like, we had a broken boy in here, and now this kid's fine. And Jake is like, I think I know what's going on here. I think this is David, and I think he acquired our cousin Sadler and is now parading as a fake Sadler to everyone. And he gets some alone time with David / Sadler, and David says, what? There's nothing wrong with this. This kid was going to die. I'm giving them a healthy kid so I can just be Sadler forever. And it doesn't hurt you guys. And, I get parents now. So I get to have a family now. And I can just go to the bathroom every 2 hours and demorph and remorph and just be myself sleeping at night where I'll have the covers over my head. No one's getting hurt here. And Jake's like, this is wrong. Where's the real Sadler? And David's like, that's none of your business. And he's very smug about it. And David says that he wants the box within 24 hours. And Jake's like, what'd you do with Sadler? And he's like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what you're talking about. So then at this point, Jake leaves, and then he talks to Rachel. And Jake actually compliments Rachel, and he's like, you know what, you're the bravest one out of the entire group. He's like, I really respect you for that. Like, you are willing to get everything done, and you're willing to do the dirty work. Which I was like, oh my God, self-aware Jake admitting he used Rachel to do his dirty work. And Rachel really appreciates that. And it's like she's finally being, appreciated for everything that she does and what Jake was expecting her to do. So then they apologize for fighting, and then they hug, and that's real nice.
Yeah.
And then
this is also like the first book in the series, it feels like, to really appreciate that these two are cousins. Like, it's like mentioned a couple times. But like this one, they actually have a familial relationship, and I was like, oh, this is so lovely.
Yeah.
Why don't we see this more often?
Yeah, I would have loved to see that more often. And then the entire gang regroups again, and Marco is very mean to Rachel. And he said, well, clearly, Rachel, David beat you, and you're giving up. And I was like, what the fuck? Marco, back up for a minute.
Did you know this was like a performance? Because I knew from the second Marco was me, and I was like, oh, this is bullshit.
I didn't realize it until a little bit further into the book, and then I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I didn't realize it right away in the moment, but then...
Because she also throws in one line where she's like, and Tobias was not here. And I was like, okay, right.
Yeah.
So we were staging something. Got it.
So then they all decide, quote unquote, that they're going to give David the blue box. And they're going to give it up to him.
And he's clearly outsmarted us.
Oh, he's clearly...
Say what you will about David, but they were hamming it up a little bit with that. I was like, right.
This isn't even the peak of the hamming it up scenes in the book. All right. Yeah. We hello, little boy. So they go back to school the next day, and then David shows up. He's like, "Where's my box?" And Jake is like, fine, David, we'll give it to you. And I'm sorry my team is too stupid to outsmart you. Everyone here is dumb. And Rachel's like, Jake, come on, we tried our best. And Jake's like, shut up, Rachel. And he throws beans into her shirt, like baked beans on the table.
She also starts fake crying.
Yeah,
like,
and
this is crazy.
And then he takes his hand and wipes it down the front of her shirt, and so he gets the bean juice off of it. And I was like, all right, you guys are laying it on a little thick here.
We're going a little hard in the.
But here's the thing, David is dumb enough to buy it, which I'm like, yes. Because he wants so badly to believe that he's the mastermind and he's smarter than all the rest of them. And all those insecurities lead to his downfall because all he can see is his ego. This is all psychology stuff. But I like that this is in this book, it gives it a lot more nuance, I think. It makes everybody more complex. So, David said, I want Rachel to lead me to the box because she was all big, tough, and mean to me, and I want her to be humiliated. And Jake's like, well, I can do that. David's like, I want Rachel because I don't like her. She didn't like me. And they're like, okay, David, I guess we gotta listen to you. So they go out to where the box is, quote unquote. And David tells Rachel, you gotta morph a mouse or a rat. And Rachel's like, okay, David. And she morphs real small. And then David morphs rattlesnake. And he is like, all right, if any of you come after Rachel, I'm going to kill Rachel. I'm going to bite her and I'm going to eat her and she'll be dead. So all of you need to morph roaches right now or I'm going to bite Rachel. And they're like, but you can't do that. He's like, you guys all need to be cockroaches right now. If I'm going to trust you, that's how you got to be. And they're like, okay. And also, David still doesn't know that Tobias is alive. Just FYI, as a reminder. No one has shared that fact with David. So they all morph cockroaches, and David picks them up one by one, and he puts them into a glass bottle. And then he puts a lid on the bottle and says, all right, you guys are trapped here, and you can't get out. And now only Rachel can lead me. And if she doesn't get out, you're all trapped as roaches. So suck it. And the gang's like, oh no. So David follows Rachel in rat morph, and she is quietly speaking to the rest of the gang and making sure everything is going to plan. And she's leading him underground through a tunnel, and David starts to get a little bit suspicious because he's starting to, because Rachel smells fresh air, and she's like, if I can smell it, I know he can smell it. And he's like, what's going on here? So she starts running forward, and he bites down on her tail. So Rachel...
Yeah, this was heavy metal as shit.
I was going to say, she's so metal. She bites her own tail off. She chews her tail off, and she's like, I don't need a tail. Goodbye. And she runs as fast as she can. And as she's running, David is chasing after behind her, and she speaks to the gang, and she's like, okay, now. And she runs out. They close, and it's a cage. And they trapped David in a little rat cage. And he freaks out. He's panicking. And he's like, how could this be? And Tobias is like, remember me, bitch? I'm alive!
Yeah. And I can unscrew bottle caps.
Exactly.
And also, we laid out this bottle with the hopes that you would do exactly what you did.
We knew you would get this bottle. So...
Yeah.
I can't remember if he unscrewed the top or if he just like picked up the bottle and then slammed it against the ground to break it. I don't remember which. Either way.
I actually don't remember either.
I don't either. Good on Tobias for being a little sneaky. And so David is trapped in this cage, and we find out it was actually Kacey who had come up with this plan, and she was not happy about it, but she felt like this was the best option besides killing him. And so they sit and they listen to David's cries and pleading and anger and insults until finally the 2-hour limit has been reached and he is now a rat forever. And so they morph birds, they pick him up, and they fly him to a little space where they know there's a big rat colony, and they just drop him off and say, adios, buddy. And he, one of the things he actually said to them, he's like, you can't judge me, you're not God. I was like, okay. Yeah. Okay, buddy, calm down.
Sure.
So Rachel and Axe both take him to a little rat colony, and they drop him off there. Both of them are pretty messed up from hearing the things that David said as he was getting...
Yeah, Rachel's like, I'll think of this
for the rest of my life. Yeah, this is going to be something that's going to fuck them both up.
But I ain't sorry, and I do
That's
it again.
right. That's our Rachel. And then the book kind of ends with like, sometimes it on moonlit nights, you can still hear someone shouting, "No! No!"
Yeah.
And that's the end of the book.
Very ominous. I love it. I love that ending. It's so good.
It kind of reminded me of, Prince of Egypt, the animated DreamWorks movie? When Ramses is stuck after the parting of the sea, and he's just on that little dune, and he's like, "No! Moses!" That's kind of how I thought of it. It was a good little moment. Just terribly sad, but also, you deserve it.
David, exactly like Ramses.
Exactly like Ramses.
Just the same.
Exactly.
Both egomaniacs.
Yes, absolutely. So that is the end of the book. And
beautiful.
A lovely, lovely, lovely ending to the book. And we find out I think they were going to find Sadler's body like somewhere. I can't remember exactly what happened. But David was like, they'll find Sadler's body somewhere else. But by that time, he'll be dead. And it's kind of implied that Sadler died.
Yeah.
Like, his body's gone.
But I remember, like, not having, like, concrete clarity on it. Like, I was like, I don't know where. Yeah. So
I think David said the way
gets addressed.
Yeah, I think the way David said he got the body was he went in through the top of an elevator when David was on a bed in the elevator with a couple doctors, and he like knocked out the doctors, took David's DNA or took Sadler's DNA. I think he put Sadler's body like on top of the elevator, like the outside of the elevator. That's kind of how I imagined it, because how are you going to hide his body?
That's wild.
And like, they're not going to find it for a very long time, and that is very sad. So fuck David. He sucks. I'm glad he's gone. And also, rats only lived about 3 to 5 years. So suck it, David. That's your lifespan now.
Sorry, buddy.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, no, I would have just killed the guy, but hey, live your life.
Now he can suffer. Now he can suffer for longer. So,
also now everyone knows about Animorphs for sure, because the Marriott Hotel is in ruins.
Absolutely. It's so weird. This herd of elephants.
But these are bridges we'll cross when we'll come to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
These are bridges we'll cross when we come to them. But yeah, we've already said it, but yeah, the main thing to change would be the Marriott stuff. I would probably swap out the plot of the Marriott stuff throughout the last 3 books in an adaptation. And either put another plot in there just to have the presence of Yeerks.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you need it at all, really.
No, I mean, you could just do like a spying mission where they're nearby, but not the focus, Yeah,
it could just be an espionage thing. I mean, honestly, the David stuff is, I think, compelling enough, and I think it probably makes the character more consistent if he's more the person he is in this book when we first meet him. Just a little bit unhinged and sociopathic, and then apparently obviously when his parents get taken, then just jumps right up to 11. Just have that be the overarching plot is David's gonna get his parents back hell or high water, and the Animorphs are trying to put some caution in there, and then unraveling that this guy is unhinged.
And it makes sense.
I think I'd get rid of the Marriott stuff altogether.
And it makes sense for the Yeerks to kind of be in the background, because dealing with David and the constant suspicion of is he not with us? There's something weird about this kid. It makes more sense that our Animorphs gang is going to be more focused on David rather than what's happening with the Yeerks. So that's going to take up more of their time, and that's also going to give us more time for that character development. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. I'm excited to see where we go now that we've wrapped up David.
Yeah, I am excited too. You ready to look up the next book?
Yes, but tell me, is it the Hork-Bajir Chronicles, or is it book 23?
It's the Hork-Bajir Chronicles. I've never read this one. Okay. So this one's brand new for me.
I'm excited.
So, yeah, if you want to pull up the cover.
I'm assuming it takes place before all this stuff.
Good
I don't know
question.
what I thought Orc-Bajir looked like, but it was not this.
Oh. Yeah, that's
This guy
what
looks
they
like
look
a corn on the cob.
Oh my god, Jen.
Doesn't he? Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy. He looks like a corn on the cob. I never thought about that before, but you're not wrong.
Yeah, he really looks like a corn on the cob.
Yeah, that's.
But yeah, it's a little corn on the cob bird-looking guy next to a little purple andalite. Mm-hmm. And they're looking.
And that andalite
menacing.
is giving us a hard side eye, like, bitch, what?
Yeah, really, really laying it on thick there.
Yeah, just very judgy, very judgy. So, the official description, the unforgettable story of the fierce Hork-Bajir Wars in a time before the Animorphs. Dak Hami is a unique Hork-Bajir. His people call him a seer. He learns more quickly and completely than the rest of his docile race. Hork-Bajir like him are born once a generation. Aldrea is a young Andalite, daughter of the notorious Prince Zero. It is only after there it is. It is only after she and her family are sent to the Hork-Bajir homeworld that she begins to fight the Yeerks and, with Dak's help, ultimately discovers their hideous plan. So it is a prequel.
So this is literally going to be like the story of the downfall of the Hork-Bajir?
I think so. That's what makes sense to me.
And Zero being maybe a character in this. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
color
think...
me intrigued here. I'm waiting with bated breath.
Do you think we're gonna get another cross-species romance here?
God, I hope so. I hope so. I need corn on the cob and Andalite action stat.
Heck yeah, baby.
Throw me a bone. And by bone, I mean boner.
Hell yeah. Fucking everybody put your boners up for the Hork-Bajir Chronicles.
Up. So put your boners in the sky if you want. Let's go.
Got your boners in the night sky. No.
That's it.
So
I'm sending SOS beacons.
There you go. They'll see the boners and they'll say, "Help us," and I'll look back at them and say, "No."
Not Watchmen. Oh no.
So I'm super excited about this. I've never read this one. I'm ready to dive into another prequel and see what all that business is about.
It's the perfect time for it because I feel like we came off of a real high with that trilogy conclusion there, and I feel like this is gonna feed lovely right into our next stuff. No tagline though. I noticed. What's up with that?
No tagline. I mean, do you want to create one right now?
Yeah. Because the taglines always mean fucking nothing. So how about this? It's they came. And we weren't ready. ...
Ooh. All right, I've got one.
Yeah, hit it.
They say knowledge is power, but sometimes it's too much power. ...
Ooh, I like that. That's good.
Heck yeah.
That fits well.
Heck yeah.
That's good.
I like that. Oh, I like both our taglines. We'll have them both, one on each side.
There you go. Someone do the edit.
There we go. So if you guys would like to send us an email, thoughts, questions, concerns, how did you do on your Steinhauser test? You can email us morphinbuddies@gmail.com. That's morphinbuddies at gmail.com. That's good. All right, and we
don't
will...
let them doctor me.
Absolutely,
they're going to doctor my voice.
Yes, I'm absolutely going to be taking.
The AI is coming.
going to put that in at the end of every episode now. Fantastic. So thank you so much for sticking with us and listening, and we hope you really enjoyed this episode. And we'll see you the next time with the Hork-Bajir and the Andalites and crawl into their little ear canals on the next episode of Morphin Buddies. Bye!
Bye.